All right, welcome everybody to Cloud Room episode 6. First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I appreciate the great feedback you guys have been leaving the last couple episodes. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you guys for a quick favor. If you're watching this video here, can you go ahead and press a thumbs up? Helps the algorithm. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So let's get started with today's episode. So we have a very special guest with us. He is a Bitclout OG. He is a big investor on the platform. He's been in the crypto world for years. He's just an overall cool guy. Let's welcome Mr. Robert Graham to the table here today. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we spoke through Bitclout. That's how we connected. And you've been on the platform since how long? Tell us a little more about that.
You know what? That's a good question. So I think I was on around day 2 of the private beta when the link was circulating that I don't think was supposed to be circulating to the general public. I had a friend that was early on the platform, one of the early investors, and I was sent the link. I think day 2, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about yourself then. How did you find out about Bitclout? What have you? I know you've been big on crypto and Bitcoin for a couple of years now. So talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I've been in the crypto space for a long time. I started buying Bitcoin around 2016 and have just been fascinated and obsessed with crypto across the board in general for 7-8 years now. My kind of step into the crypto world was a little bit later on after I had worked in the talent world for a long time. So I moved to LA and I started working for a talent agency called Paradigm. I worked on the talent side. So we were repping traditional actors at that time that were being cast in movies, and a lot of what we were doing was negotiating those deals and working on. I was working on the digital side and more of the appearance side with those individuals specifically. And the social world started to pop up. The Kim Kardashians started to do sponsored posts on Twitter, and it was very, very early on in that world. But I saw that being the next kind of big thing, where these social media influencers were going to accumulate large followings, and with the attention, you are able to command monetary value. So I left the agency and started my own company, which was a talent management and client services business, where we started working with very early stage companies in the social realm that wanted to and were looking to utilize influencers in their marketing strategy. So yeah, that was kind of how I got into the social media world, and then I was introduced to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency through my brother, who's a really smart individual and has been in the space for a long time. And at first it didn't make a ton of sense to me. And he started, just hammering it into my head. And I started doing some more research and reading books and, looking things up online, and it all started to click.
Nice. So yeah, you were kind of in that first wave of social media before it was really a business, right? Before people realized like, yo, you can make a bunch of money from this, ads, sponsored, companies, things like that, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was approaching people in the early days, brands, and saying, hey, you should work with Nash Greer or Hayes Greer, who were two, huge Viners at the time.
Yeah.
And this is why, they have a massive audience. Yes, their audience is extremely young, but if the brand fit, if they were targeting that demographic, then it was a no-brainer to me. But when I was approaching them and I was trying to get, a couple grand, they were laughing in my face saying, why would I do this? This makes no sense. And then we started working with this app. It was early, I don't know if they're still around. It was called Show Mobile. And they wanted to hit like that younger kind of Disney, 13, 14, 15-year-old audience to download the app and start producing content on there. And we did something, I think, with Hayes or Nash or one of the younger kids at the times, and it just crushed. They got a ton of downloads. So they immediately called me and they're like, hey, we need to do more of this. And that was kind of the start of the social game for us. But yeah, we were in very early when nobody really knew it was a thing.
That's amazing. So that's actually interesting because now Bitclout, right? So we're in Bitclout now. We're 2 months in, early. Nobody, there's people on the platform, but no one's really taken that dominance yet. Talk to us. What is the potential you see with Bitclout, and why are you bullish on the platform?
Yeah, so I've been around for a while. I've seen the the different life cycles of the social media platforms from Vine to Instagram to YouTube
Yeah.
to Musically, which is now TikTok.
Yeah.
And Gary Vee is another guy that'll talk a lot about this. But it's really just kind of seeing something early on when everybody else is afraid and not wanting to get on the platform for whatever reason because it's just dancing and it's stupid or it's just like young kids and I don't want to be a part of that. And then inevitably it starts to grow and it starts to garner more attention. And, the platform starts to scale and then everybody starts to jump on late stage.
Yeah.
So for me, I saw Bitclout early and it was my two worlds coming together with crypto and social. And it was something that, my friends and I had been discussing for a long time and had just kind of kicked around. Why
Hmm.
don't these individuals have, some sort of monetary value attached to them, or why can't we invest in them and their careers, or just
Yeah.
something along those lines in general? So when I saw it, I became extremely excited, and I saw the long term potential. Knowing that they were going to have issues in the beginning. Obviously, the platform's only 2 months old,
Yeah.
and they're still working out a lot of kinks on the back end. But as I started to learn more about it, just outside of the creator economy, like what could be built on top of BitClout, where this could go, these third party apps that could take this to the next level and potentially build the next Instagram or
Yeah.
whatever that might be, and have it live on top of the BitClout blockchain and be completely decentralized was really, really interesting to me because all I do all day long is hear influencers and talent complain about algorithms,
Yeah.
about how their audience isn't being reached, about how one post is doing better than the other, about getting shorthanded in terms of brand deals and just like being offered little to no money when um, in reality, the amount of people that they're reaching with their content should be 10x what some of them are being paid. So this was something that I saw being long term incredible for creators. I
Yeah.
think the NFT marketplace has kind of shown that recently for specific individuals, and I think this will open up the doors for a lot of creative individuals and social media personalities to monetize their brand.
That's exciting. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Um, I'm having, I can see the vision, and the more I'm on the platform, the more I believe it, and the more I'm 100%, like, yo, this is going to be huge.
Yeah.
But how do we get, like, let's say an influencer on another platform? They have millions of followers.
Mhm.
They're getting sponsored ads. What's it going to take for them to, decide to spend more time on BitCloud or eventually transition their full platform to BitCloud?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. I think the off ramp, is kind of the first key.
Yeah,
That has been something everybody's asked me about. Everybody's been asking about in general is how do I monetize here? Yes, I can see myself earning BitClout. The founder reward thing is great, but how do I actually take that and turn it into something that I can spend in the real world?
yeah,
And I think the off ramp is step one, right? Like I think once there's an off ramp and once there are some creators that were early on in this platform that have some news stories around them where they made, let's call it 50 grand. And I'm, a 17-year-old on BitClout makes 50 grand.
yeah,
I think that's going to be incredibly impactful. And I think, others will take notice and start to flood onto the platform once that happens. But that off ramp needs to come and hopefully it'll come soon. So I think that's step one. And then, just having more utility.
yeah,
As it stands right now, BitClout is cool, but it's very, very close to and mirrors Twitter.
yeah,
And I know that there's a ton of third party developers and a ton of apps being built on top of BitClout right now. So I think it's just a matter of time before we get something that really entices individuals to come on and play with whatever that third party app is, and it's
yeah.
living on top of BitClout. And I think that'll be kind of the catalyst for another step in the right direction for user adoption. And then if you get a Kim Kardashian or a Justin Bieber when it's time, right? Like when BitClout is ready, or one of these third party apps are ready to be able to host somebody of that magnitude with tools or utility or whatever it might be, I think then all of a sudden everybody starts to take notice and comes aboard.
Absolutely. Another thing though, so what do you think of, like, for example, everyone that's on the platform now has to have some sort of understanding of, like, blockchain, crypto. We all
Right.
kind of have a decent understanding. Do you think, for this to become mainstream, we're going to have to kind of make it easier than just like the whole blockchain, the whole crypto aspect of things? Make
Yeah,
it
I
more
think
of a
right
social
now.
platform, you know?
Right. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
right now the people that are on there are obviously, early stage crypto, and, people that kind of see this for what it is right now. But
Yeah.
I think and I'll touch on the third party, developers and applications being built on top of this. I think as those start to roll out and as we start to see some really cool projects, it's going to shift away from being kind of this crypto LinkedIn / Twitter-esque platform to potentially being, a new version or a decentralized version of TikTok or Instagram,
Yeah.
where there's something that just shows instantaneous video feeds, or there's something with cool imaging and tools that you can utilize to tweak the images. And I'm sure there's a lot of different cool things being built right now. I know there's applications that are similar to Clubhouse being built right now, and there's applications that are similar to OnlyFans that are being built right now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see who the winners are, in that world, and I think the paywalls and the different projects that are being built that are similar to OnlyFans right now have really cool and interesting utility for creators. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think that we're still very very early, and it's just a matter of time before one of those things takes off.
Absolutely, man. And again, we forget it's only been what, 2 months, man. It's
2 months,
crazy,
man,
huh? It
crazy. Yeah,
feels like it's been a year.
yeah,
Huh?
dude, where they're at in 2 months, I think people forget. It's just like Bitcoin early days, right? Like
Yeah.
you bought it at $1,000 and it ran up to 3,000, 4,000, and then it crashed back down to like 1,200, and everybody started
Yeah.
freaking out, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this!" Or recently it was at 64,000 and it crashed back down to 30,000. But dude,
Yeah.
30,000 was a dream, like a dream
Dude, yeah. Back in
9 months
November.
ago.
Yeah.
Like nobody would even fathom Bitcoin being at 30,000. So I think I think that's going to be the same thing here. It's just like, right now it's month two, and
Yeah.
I think people have really high expectations for what this is or what this should be. And in my opinion, I think that they're way ahead of the game for being month two. And I think that, from what I hear and the individuals that I'm talking to, there's just, incredible things to come. And I think they're going to figure it out personally. So we'll see.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. When you first started 2 months ago and to now, so now on a scale of 1 to 10, how bullish are you on the platform itself, on BitClout?
Dude, so bullish. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm incredibly bullish. I'm pretty heavily invested in it, to be perfectly honest. I've put a lot of my own funds into the platform. I've allocated some of my Bitcoin holdings into the platform.
Nice.
I just think there's a unique opportunity right now with BitCloud. I think, there's a lot of people that don't understand it. There's a lot of people that are afraid to get on because they're going to, devalue their brand somewhere else or
Yeah.
whatever. There's a lot of different things being, discussed. And I get it. If you're a huge social personality, right, and you're doing well on other platforms, you probably want to minimize risk and come onto this thing when it's right. And when there's been, 10 other individuals that aren't at your scale that have proven concept and been able to monetize and do the things that you're looking to do. So I
Exactly.
understand that, but I also, from like an investor long-term perspective, from my standpoint, there's no better time to be in there, to be navigating the space, to be figuring it out, to be talking to individuals that could potentially come on and help the platform.
Yeah.
And long term, man, I'm extremely bullish. I think it's going to be a huge win for me and a lot of the early people on here, and not only just us, but I think it's going to be a huge win for creators across the board.
Absolutely. And you brought a good point. I think there's been one creator, I can't remember his name. He's big on I think he was big on TikTok or Instagram. He came on the platform and then
Yeah,
I think he rug pulled or just dipped. He just dipped. I forgot his name, but I remember I can see being one of those stories where he looks back, 5 years down the line being like, yo, that was like the Bitcoin pizza, like you could have just stayed
yeah.
on. The game could have changed forever. So
I mean, you never know. Like you never know, right? Like I'm hoping and I'm incredibly bullish that it does work, but you do never know. But man, like I think there's a real opportunity when people are, Buffett and those guys will say when people are scared, when people are nervous, that's the
yeah,
time to really go heavy and go in. I mean, I wish I would have gotten in. I wish when I saw Musically and I was telling everybody I knew to get on there, and then TikTok acquired it, and I was telling everybody I knew to get on TikTok, and nobody wanted to do it, and then
yeah,
Charlie D'Amelio did it, and then all of a sudden it blew up and everybody wanted to be on. I wish I could have invested in influencers back then or individuals back then that were associated with that platform and or that platform in general
Yeah.
without being like it's nearly impossible to get an allocation to those platforms, right? If you're just a seed investor or just, some individual, right? You don't get those opportunities. It goes to, major VCs and everybody else across the board before you even get a chance to look at it if you do at all. So I think this is a unique opportunity for normal and average individuals to get in on something early and potentially see a huge upside long term.
Absolutely. And again, social media is fairly new, right? It's what, 15 years old. It's
Yeah,
changing every day. A
yeah.
lot of careers are being made from this, and it's going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue to grow. That's how we communicate. So I absolutely see this as a tool for long-term potential for a lot of people, right? Because there's incentives for investors and creators to win in this platform, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think there's incentives on both sides, right? Like you kind of take out the middleman. You essentially, if you're a mid tier creator, take out management fees or really any shadiness that could be
yeah,
going on in the discussions of your deals because it's very transparent. It lives on the blockchain. And if you're able to amass and accumulate an audience and you have the attention, you're going to see what those deals look like because they're coming directly to you.
yeah,
And you're going to be able to approve and or deny those rather than it going through a third party, them negotiating on your behalf. And dude, I've been in this game for a long time. There's a million different stories of managers taking more than they should and or
yeah.
not presenting deals that they should have presented because of whatever reason. So I think this takes a lot of that out, and I think it's just a matter of time before creators realize that.
Absolutely, man. And one thing that I was thinking about yesterday is when we talk our phones, let's say I talk about pizza right now. I go on Instagram, I'm going to see a pizza ad, right?
Right.
So you forget that these platforms are made for profit for the big company, not for the creator, not for the people investing in the creators. So there's no incentive to really build on those platforms looking at Bitclout now, like what's the point?
Right. I mean, there is no incentives to build. I mean, there was, right? Like, because that was the only
No,
option.
there was
So,
absolutely.
yeah, like if you got on Instagram early, like we were, that's all we did. We're building our audiences and telling others to how to do that and showing them how to do that and trying to get them as much attention and as big a following as possible because then you could turn around and monetize that.
Yeah.
But you're right; these big conglomerates are built for generating ad revenue. Like
Yeah.
that's what their business is based around. At the end of the day, it's generating ad revenue and making shareholders happy by increasing that ad revenue and serving more ads and collecting more data and it doesn't benefit the creators
Yeah.
as much as it should. Sure, there's some high level creators that are doing really really well, but if they had the ability and had the power to market to their entire audience, right? To have deals come to them that were completely transparent, to understand exactly what their worth was and have their content be shown to 100% of the individuals that wanted to see their content.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge fundamental shift in where the creator economy um, can go and will go with BitClout.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about the platform itself, right? So you are a big investor on the platform, but you also do well with the community. Tell us a little bit about what you look for when you invest in creators on the platform that are currently there.
Yeah, so right now I'm just looking for content machines, right? Like I've
Yeah,
invested in a lot of young creators that are just pumping out content all day, every day. I think and I know because like again, I've been doing this for a long time. What it really comes down to is consistency.
yeah,
On any platform, you need to be ultra consistent and you need to add value to your audience. Whether that's doing really funny, cool, unique TikTok videos or generating or making really interesting YouTube videos that are unfortunately clickbaity, but get a lot of eyeballs on them because you're
yeah,
doing crazy stuff. So it's just a matter of pumping out consistent content, and with BitCloud, I think also adding value in the content that you're posting.
mhm,
So a lot of my investments have been into creators that are just consistent. Really, I want to see people that are really into the platform, that are posting a ton, that are posting content that I'm looking to potentially engage with, and that are that's adding value back to their audience.
nice.
That's why I'm bullish on a lot of the younger creators because I think BitClout is a platform where they are kind of dipping their toes into the cryptocurrency space for the first time. They don't
Yeah,
hold Bitcoin, they don't hold Ethereum. They're not looking to buy Polkadot,
yeah,
uh, but they are able to get on BitClout and they are able to have a voice here. And I think long term and even short term with some of them earn, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be significant for a lot of these younger kids to where, they're going to be 16, 17, 18 years old and generating a healthy income for their age group. And that's kind of the strategy that I've been taking is just realistically content creators. And then I made some bets on some individuals that I think could adopt this platform in the near to mid future and really crush it. Like the Gary Vaynerchuk's of the world. I know he just dropped his um, NFTs, and he's focusing a ton of time on that. But guys
Yeah.
like that, and like even Paris Hilton and some individuals, or like Justin Bieber, that could really come on here and make a huge difference. I've made some bets there as well, but I've been making less of those, and I've just been actively investing in people that are really consistent on the platform.
Yeah, and that's amazing, man, because you're stimulating the community now, and I'm sure that it helps the creators. I know when I got my first investment, it was like, yo, I want to make more content,
Yeah,
so it
dude, it's
really,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So it makes you want to provide for the community and bring the value that you were speaking of.
Right.
But yeah, you bring a good point because now kids nowadays, they don't want to be doctors, they don't want to be lawyers, they want to be creators,
Yeah.
right? So there's going to
Hmm.
be a market for creators, especially as we continue to grow. These kids, they've grown with creators. I
Right.
didn't really have creators till there was no like social media influencers till maybe what, like 10 years ago. So I was already a little older, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like these kids nowadays, they want to be creators. They start creating from a young age. So there's going to be more demand for creators. So Bitclout is the perfect platform for, decentralization of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think if you ask any kid under 18, the majority will tell you they want to be a YouTuber, they want to be a
Yeah.
TikTok star, or something in that creative environment, which I get it. Like it's a cool life, and if you make it, you
Yeah.
do well, and you get to have a lot of really great experience. So I totally understand. But I think it's really, really, really difficult, especially now, to be a Jake or Logan Paul or one of those individuals. It's just so incredibly saturated on those platforms. Like I said, they're restricting and they're holding, the keys to whatever it is that you want to push out and how much of your audience is actually going to see that. And it's
Yeah.
really difficult to grow an audience on these platforms. And unless you're
Absolutely.
really standing out or really somebody special. So I think BitClout being decentralized and allowing for these young creators to monetize their brand early on is a unique opportunity for people to jump on board and be here for the long term.
Absolutely. And you said it best. If I start an Instagram account today, no followers, no connections, it is impossible to
And
build
dude,
it.
it's
Impossible.
really, really, really hard. Unless you're doing, unless, I mean, dude, I don't even know what to tell you. You have
Yeah,
to be
you can't.
so unique or doing something so outside of the box that it's
Yeah.
really difficult to get to that level.
And their solutions is paying for ads, right? You get ads, they want to sell you ads all the time. Buy ads, buy ads. That's how even your own followers won't see your content unless you're paying for ads, which is crazy.
It's
It's like,
crazy. Yeah, it
yeah,
is
it's
crazy.
completely changed. So that brings me to my next question. Do you use any other social media platforms as of now?
I do, yeah. I use
Yeah.
Instagram. I've been on Instagram for a long time.
Okay.
That's where my largest audience is located. So I do use Instagram. I guess, a semi unique case though. I have a relatively sizable following, I guess, but I don't monetize it. Like I never do brand deals or paid posts.
Okay.
I have once or twice here in the past. I'll normally just post my friend's stuff just
Yeah.
for just for free because I either enjoy the product or they're close friends of mine. But
Nice.
I don't really look to Instagram to monetize, so I'm not posting consistently on there. I'm not like
Yeah.
a content machine per se. But I do use Instagram. I don't use YouTube. I had TikTok for a second. Not something that I post on a lot. I post on BitClout more than anything, hands down, just
Nice.
because I'm really interested in the platform, and I think it's somewhere that I can live and I can add value to my audience more so than the other social platforms. I mean, for me, you know, I'm not like a content machine like Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's hard for me to focus a lot of time and effort on like doing shoots and stuff to post on Instagram and other platforms when I'm not really trying to monetize it.
Exactly. So would you say you're on Instagram because your friends are there, right? Most of your friends and people are on Instagram. Is that the main reason?
Yeah, it's an easy
Yeah.
way to connect. It's an easy way to follow individuals that I'm close with and kind of see what they're doing. But it's also, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but the social media landscape in general is pretty, for me, pretty mentally draining. I don't really find that I'm
Yeah.
receiving a whole lot of joy and happiness out of scrolling through Instagram ever. I mean, I think when I scroll and I end up getting off of the platform, I feel worse about myself than
Yeah.
anything else. So I've been spending less and less time there, just because I do think it's a very how do I say this? Like, I don't want to say fake, but it's just like snapshots of people's lives, I guess, in the best particular moment, and really not showcasing what's going on in real life. So yeah, I don't know. It just, for me, it's not really something that I overly enjoy so
Same.
much. Whereas where I'm on BitClout, I find the community to be really really positive, really kind of responsive, and supportive of a lot of the stuff that's going on there. And I'm sure that'll change as it gets bigger, but right now it's great.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. So I have Instagram. I think I post once a year. I go there. It's I use it how I used to use Facebook. I just go there to catch up with friends. Every
Yeah,
now and then. I've put my BitClout link now though there, and I'm like, yo, I don't post here anymore. You guys can find me on BitClout.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we'll see if anybody joins from that. If they do, great. If not, we can text me. But
yeah.
what I was saying is, yeah, the thing about BitClout, I'm not a big social media guy. I've never been, down to invest my time in it. But BitClout, the community is what makes it, right?
Right.
So the way I see it is if we get a bunch of nodes, kind of like Reddit, right? Reddit has
Mhm.
its own little subreddits, but instead we get everyone's own little nodes. It's not as toxic anymore. And
Right.
people benefit from it, right? Because I can be in the meme node or I can be in the, fitness or bit crypto. And it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
a community that you enjoy,
Right.
and it kind of takes that toxicness away from it, where you're being sold this fake lifestyle that people are portraying,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
a good point. I actually think that's a really good point. You can kind of subscribe to and be involved in the communities that you want to be involved in, rather than
yeah,
being served, ads and a bunch of other stuff that you're really not looking to, take part in. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that's where it's going, right? Like, we were talking
yeah,
about this the other day. ESPN can have a node where it's just,
absolutely.
all sports and all things that you're interested in there. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. I think, hopefully that'll, I guess, help, some people get out of their mental funk when they are on some of these social platforms, and get back to a positive mindset.
Absolutely. So that brings me, that's a great point. So where do you see BitClout in the next, or where do you want to see BitClout in the next, 6 to 12 months? What would you like to see from the platform as we continue to grow day by day?
That's a good question. I mean, I think they're doing a really good job. I think they're updating and releasing a lot of really cool features.
Yeah.
I still think that there's going to be a little bit of time before we get that really kind of hero third party app that allows for a lot of individuals to come on this and utilize it for video and or imagery in a real way. But I think the exchange, number one, will be
Yeah.
great next month, couple months, whenever that is. And I think those third party apps being developed will be great. So I don't know, man. 6 months to a year, that's a long time frame for how fast they're pushing stuff out and how fast this
Yeah.
stuff's changing. I don't really know. I think that there's going to be just some really cool applications that people are using. I think we might get some like really top tier A-list level talent adopting this in the next, let's call it, 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really crazy to see the news cycles on the individuals that are on this, that are just killing it, and or growing their audience to be BitClout famous per se,
Yeah.
and or just like generating a ton of money in revenue direct. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. I don't even know if we understand where it could be or where it's going to go, especially with like a year's a long time for this, especially with all the people developing on this thing, and,
Oh
and
yeah.
and all the things that are happening. I think it could be a completely different ecosystem than it is as we know it.
Absolutely. And I was telling Arts the other day is you can be a creator and have absolutely no crypto. Just join the platform. Have a founder reward fee of 10%.
Yeah,
You produce good content. You start engaging with the community. People start buying your coin. You start making money off the founder reward, and then
sure.
you just you can take that money out, or you can circulate it back into BigClout. But you can essentially start with nothing, provide nothing but your content, your time and effort, and be able to monetize, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you can start with nothing, and you can start earning right away. I mean,
Yeah.
The people investing in you, I don't know if a lot of individuals know this, but when they invest in you, that money goes directly into your founder reward, and your founder reward is essentially cash.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to exit that for fiat currency if you want, and or other cryptocurrencies, I'm assuming, or whatever. You can hold it for the long term, but it's real money whichever way you cut it. And I think that's a huge opportunity for somebody to come onto this platform early, starting from nothing, and
Yeah.
be able to generate real revenue
Yeah.
instantaneously just by providing value and adding, and creating content on the platform.
Absolutely. What do you think is the biggest threat to Bitclout? Let's thinking like, we're 2 months in. What can be, a big threat to just maybe, stopping the growth that's happening?
I think user adoption, I think they do need to continue to pump out features, and I think the third party developers do need to build things that are going to be utilized by the masses.
Yeah.
So I think user adoption is going to need to scale, and for that to scale, there needs to be something that is that hero application and or feature, whatever that is. I'm not totally sure, but um, I think that's one thing, right? Like if it just kind
Yeah.
of stagnant, people aren't adopting it in or using it, and the developers stop developing, then it kind of goes away and dies. So I think there's got to be that.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, man, there's always kind of those like black swan events and or things with regulatory issues, which I don't think there's going to be any of that, but that could potentially like slow some stuff down. But from what I know, it's pretty good to go. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just think really the main focus, which something I'm really excited about, is they fully released all of the code. It's completely decentralized.
Yeah.
There is no company. That actually happened. It's the first time in history that a social
That's
platform has done
huge.
this. It's huge. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy if you think about it. I don't think people really comprehend how big that is just yet. That you can go onto this blockchain and build whatever you want, and it's completely decentralized, and it's totally out there for you to see. So I think they're doing everything right, and I think they're making a lot of moves in the right direction. Um, the biggest threat, I guess, are the big tech companies, the Twitters and the Instagrams and stuff of the world. But I just think once it hits scale, it's going to be really hard to slow this thing down.
Absolutely. And it's funny because the day that I first joined was around that same time that you were mentioning when there
Yeah,
was that, login. I thought it was a scam. But,
yeah,
I thought it was a scam. People were saying it was a scam on Twitter, on, Reddit. They were just saying it's a
yeah,
scam. I still took a chance. I put some Bitcoin in there. I'm like, I'm going to see what this is about just because the concept, the idea of decentralized social media
right,
caught my eye. I'm like, this can be huge. We need this in a time like today with everything going on, with the politics and GameStop and all that stuff.
hundred
It was like the
percent.
perfect time,
Yeah,
So I'm now it's not a scam. Now
yeah.
I'm like it would be more work to make it a scam than it is to what they're doing now.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we know
yeah,
it's not a scam. Like, we know who the founding team is. We know the people behind it. It's just not. It's flat out not a scam. Like, and we
yeah,
know it's being listed on an exchange. It's not a scam. It is what it is. It's a real platform. It's a real decentralized social media platform that is in early stage. It's not a scam at all, and
yeah,
we'll see where it goes. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's I still think that's kind of the mindset of a lot of people, unfortunately. But I think as this progresses, and once the listing exchange hits and there are people actually making money off of this thing and are able to sell their BitClout coin, um, then all that goes away.
absolutely.
It's just a
And
matter of
yeah, I go on Twitter every now and then, and I just look up like what people think about BitClout. And
time. Mhm.
yeah, you one out of every three posts is like, oh, it's a scam, and here's
Yeah,
why. And again, it just doesn't make sense because people don't take the time to actually do the work and research and just try it
right.
out themselves. But what do you recommend for somebody that wants to learn about BitClout? How do they go about it? What are the first steps they should take? Let's say they're watching this video. I want to sign up. What should I do?
Yeah, I think reading the white paper is always really interesting because that kind of explains what BitCloud is and their
Yeah.
vision early on. And then it's really easy to sign up, right? Like you can just go
Yep.
and sign up pretty quickly. You don't need any money to do so. You add your phone number. You can sign up. You can start playing around with the platform. I really advise just kind of going on and searching and seeing is going up the leaderboard on whether it's like the most diamond or top creators, and just kind of seeing how they're pushing out content. And then just be you, man. Just put out as much content as you can in your voice and try to add value back to your community. And then if you feel comfortable, maybe push over some other individuals from your other social platforms to come take a look. But yeah, I think, reading the white paper is always smart, just to have an understanding of what Bitclout is and the vision for it. And
Yeah.
then just jumping on the platform and diving in. I mean, that's the best way to figure it out. Following guys like you and just kind of seeing the content that you're pushing out, I think will really help a lot of individuals, kind of understand what this is and where it's going to go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to do it, is just to try it out and check for yourselves, because it's really an awesome community, very unique, not toxic at all.
Yeah.
Everybody there, has the same goal
And
in
it's
mind,
awesome.
which is,
Everybody's so
yeah,
positive. I mean, I
yeah,
post stuff and people are all just, incredibly positive, and that's the complete opposite of most social platforms. Like when you post stuff, if you're a big creator, you typically get a lot, it's 50-50, I guess. You get a lot of love and you get a lot of hate. But yeah, it's been very, very positive, and everybody's been really, really nice on the platform, which is great.
And that's a great point, because let's say a big creator comes on the platform. If I'm invested in the creator, I don't want to, there's not going to be a lot of toxicness around there, because everybody, we're going to engage with everyone's posts. We're going to
Yeah.
share the posts, provide feedback. It's just a constant cycle of growth for both parties, all parties.
Yeah, it's a win-win, right? When the
Yeah.
creator wins, you win. So,
Yeah.
you don't really necessarily want to hate on them. You're in their corner. You want them to do great, because if they're doing great, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely adds a different component to what social is, and it allows both people to win. Rather, you're not just a follower. You're actually part of, that creator's market cap, and if they go up, you go up, which is cool and unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like, even if you invest, 0.00001 in a creator,
Right.
you're just going to have that, support, reclouding, sharing, commenting, engaging. Even if it's, not a lot of money, I feel like that's going to change the dynamic of the creator and follower relationship that we've never seen before, which is,
Definitely, and it all lives on the blockchain, which is cool. So even if you do invest a small amount, it's verifiably there.
yeah,
We've talked about this before, but if you invested in Charlie, if you found Charlie D'Amelio
yeah,
right early on, 1,000 followers, and you're like, this girl's going to be huge, and then she blows up to 150 million followers, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that day one.
yeah.
You can't really prove that, but here you can.
Exactly, which is awesome. So
Yeah,
we'll see who the next Bitclout Charlie D'Amelio is, huh?
it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be
So
really.
what is the next thing you're looking forward to on BitClout? Like, what's the next big thing that's exciting, makes you excited about the platform?
I think a lot of the third-party apps that I've seen and I'm talking to are really, really cool and interesting, and I'm really excited to see where those go.
Nice.
So that's number one, and I think number two is the listing exchange, just because then I can start having conversations with people, and then informing them that this thing isn't scammy and it's real, and here's why.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be, I'm not too sure, but I saw someone post about how it's going to be potentially listed under Clout.
Yeah,
So that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to
that'll be
catch
cool. Yeah,
attention.
that'll be
Everybody
really.
wants Clout.
Everybody wants cloud. And I think that's a great name. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but
Yeah.
that'd be really cool if it was.
Yeah, it's a really cool name. So let's say it is listed on the exchange. How would that work, you think, for, let's say I'm a creator, I have X amount of money, X amount of big clout.
Sure.
I can just take it out of the platform.
Hmm.
Easy as that.
Yeah, you just send it. You just send it to the exchange. Take it out of the platform. Just send it to the address on the exchange, and then literally just sell it
Yeah.
for whatever you want. I mean, yeah, it's as easy as that. I think it's even easier than it's definitely easier than trying to wire money to somebody, which is a nightmare and takes
Oh
weeks.
yeah.
It's definitely easier than invoicing and doing all that other stuff. Um, so yeah, it's a matter of having your BitClout balance, and if you're a creator, you're most likely earning BitClout every single day,
Yeah.
and then literally just sending it over to your wallet in the exchange, and you can do whatever you choose to do with it from there.
That's amazing, because that way, if I'm a creator, right, and then I need to pay my rent or buy groceries or go out to dinner, I
Right.
can literally work hard for a week or a
Right.
day,
Yeah.
take it to the exchange, take that out, and then go pay in crypto somewhere as well. That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. I know it's cool. I mean, but that's where it's going. I
Yeah.
just think a lot of people realize that, but that's where it's going, and it's going there quick. So yeah, I mean, I think the early adopters again are going to be the guys and girls that win big here.
Yeah, man, that just makes me just thinking of that alone, dude. I'm so excited. It makes me just want to go on Bitclout right now and just keep on
I
posting and just
know the creators, like some of the creators. I mean, there's a huge opportunity, man. There really is. You could earn a ton of money,
yep,
and you're earning Bitclout, right? So like if Bitclout, the price of the Bitclout coin continues to go up, you're essentially earning money that is increasing in value over time.
yeah,
So, it's almost like you're double dipping in a sense where it's a win-win if you choose to hold. So yeah, it'll be really interesting. I'm really excited to see who these creators are and kind of what they choose to do with the Bitclout and where that whole ecosystem goes.
exactly. And part of the reason I like doing these videos and talking to you guys that are just early in the game is I want to look back in these videos a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, dude. And this can be like epic. Just these conversations that we're having today, as far as what
Totally.
Bitclout
Yeah.
becomes.
It's gonna be crazy because yeah, we're so early. Like this is such an early video in what
Yeah,
Cloud is. To look back on this in 2, 3, 4 years is gonna be
dude.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's why I just love like talking like this and just I'm like, yo, either we go to the moon or we bust, but this
Yeah.
concept is not going anywhere.
No, and either way, it'll be good to look back and it's not going anywhere. You're right. The
No.
creator coin concept is proven. People are interested
Yeah.
in this concept and it's not going anywhere. I hope that BitCloud is the winner in the space. I think that they will be. I think that they have a big leg up currently, but it's not going anywhere. It's going to take shape somewhere, some way. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's a really interesting, cool concept, and I think it's much needed for a lot of creators and a lot of people in the space right now.
Absolutely. Who do you think will be like the big celeb that joins first that will kind of lead the way for it? Because there's got to be that one person that's just like, yo, I'm gonna do. Pamela Anderson's actually doing very well on the platform, by the
Pamela
way.
Anderson is
Yeah,
crushing. Yeah, she's killing it on the platform. I mean, I've heard rumors of Katy Perry and Ariana Grande.
yeah,
So I mean, Logan and those guys are on it too, and they're huge. But
yeah.
I think when you're getting into that really A list talent, though, I would guess that one of those two would be, one of the first to maybe join here because I've heard that they really like the platform and they're very interested in it, and I think they're kind of just waiting for, you know, the ability to do some things that they're really good at here before they join.
Nice. Yeah, like releasing an album, right, to certain shareholder coin holders or
Yeah,
so many.
video, there's
Yeah,
gotta be video. There just has to be. Everybody consumes most of their content in the form of video these days. So
exactly.
video and, just different things that they're going to be able to utilize to really, really dive in and feel okay about it.
Absolutely, man. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Robert. We appreciate you taking the time to really, let us dissect your brain a bit and
Yeah, man.
just
Thanks for having me.
talk about Big Clout. Do you have any final words you want to, let the viewers listening to this leave them off with? Any cliffhangers,
Man,
any spicy news you want to tell us?
dude, I have a lot of really interesting things that have been brought to me from people in the BitClout community. I would just say keep going. There's a lot of really cool things, a lot of big things coming up, and they're coming up quick.
Perfect.
Um, so yeah, I would just say, go as hard as possible while you can. I think the opportunity to get in early and make some moves and really, do well early on is coming to a close, relatively soon. I don't want to say a close, but there's opportunities now that aren't going to be available to you in the next like 2 to 3 months. So
Oh
I
man.
mean, just keep producing content, keep grinding, keep going, and dude, I'm so excited to see what happens over the next couple months and look back on this video and meet and talk to more cool people like you in the space early on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's gonna be, yeah, like you said, I can't wait to see this grow, and I can't wait to see more people come on and just push the platform to become what it needs to become. So, yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna go ahead and link your. Is the best way to contact you on BitClout?
Yeah, hit me on yeah, link me on BitClout. That would be great.
Perfect.
Follow me there, message me there if you have any questions, dude. I love talking to the community. I love investing in people that are early to the game and just kind of getting their feet wet. That are going to be content creators there long term and pushing out a bunch of cool stuff. So, yeah, I mean, message me. Hit me up on BitCloud and let's do this thing together. It'd be awesome.
Robert, thank you again for joining us today on Clout Room and taking time out of your day. We greatly appreciate it, bro. You provided some super valuable insight. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure to hit him up. I'll put the link down below. And yeah, like he said, these videos are going to be epic. When we look back a year, 2 years, 10 years from now, you know, we're just in such an early state of the game right now. We're 2 months in. So, you know, a lot of big things that I'm looking forward to on Bitclout is being listed on the exchange and then just seeing more people join the platform day by day and just polishing some things on the platform, like, you know, the user engagement, you know, the interface and just certain little things like that. But overall, I am super bullish on the platform, which is why I continue to put my time and effort every single day on here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and then we will be back here next week with another episode. So thank you guys so much. Peace.